Hello, Offshore Technology Conference is 50 years and we are all celebrating. My name is Kopi Oponotri and I am bringing you happenings at the Offshore Technology Conference happening in Houston, Texas. But before we go through what is really happening in Texas, I would take you through the background of the event. So Offshore Technology Conference, which is the OTC, began in 1969 by 12 engineering and scientific organizations as a response to the growing technology needs of the global oceans extraction and environmental protection industry. So it started in 1969. Now in 1969, the first event was held at the Albert Thomas Convention Center, and then as the event grew, it was now moved to the NRG Park, of which it is now happening at the NRG Park, where Ghana is having her own pavilion at the OTC 2019. Now, after 1969, OTC between 1972 and 1982, the period of is the period of unprecedented growth in global demand for oil. So OTC became increasingly global in the context, and exhibition and attendance grew higher between the period of 1972 and then 1982. But in 1982, actually, we made the first record, or OTC made the first record. Offshore Technology Conference recorded 108,161 attendance in 1982. And then back again in 1983, there were changes in oil prices, so it affected the attendance of OTC greatly. So in 1983, OTC as an event did not make a lot of impact, let me put it that way, because attendance went down drastically because of oil prices. There were drastic drop in oil prices, so it affected the attendance of OTC in 1983. But in 1984, OTC was held without an exhibition. So there were no exhibitors in 1984. That's what happened at OTC. But we came back again in 1984. Between 1984 and 1994, OTC rebuilds exhibition and conference reflecting global activities. That is between 1984 and then 1994. And then we came back in 2002, new Reliant Center host of OTC, and then improved and expanded facility for exhibits and then conference sessions. So in 2002, it was like, it's a good comeback for OTC, and then things were really changing, and there were improvements, significant improvement in OTC. And in 2004, OTC celebrated 35 years, and attendance grew up again. The attendance in 2004 was higher. It was 50,900, the highest in 19 years. So when it dropped in 1983, it started growing again in 2004. And in 2007, OTC launched a full-day education workshop for area science teachers in 2007. And in 2011, to expand globally and technical, OTC created two new events, and that's the OTC Brazil and then Arctic Technology Conference. So in 2011, new events were created. The organizers of OTC, Offshore Technology Conference, created two new events in 2011, and that is the OTC Brazil and then the Arctic Technology Conference. And then in 2014, yes, the period where OTC Asia was also created, Offshore Technology Asia was created, and that was when we had 25,000 attendees in its inaugural year. So in the inaugural year of OTC Asia, we made 25,000 attendees, and it is the largest too. And then in history, it's equally the highest at the time. It made history because the exhibition at the time was 680,025 feet square, and the new high record is 108,300 attendees of the event. And then in 2018, another great year for OTC. Ghana represented here, let me let you know that. So OTC looks forward to its 5th year with the event recognizing the contribution of its authors, exhibitors, and attendees. So this is the year that OTC is celebrating 50 years, and Ghana is representing greatly. But I still want to take you through some background information on OTC. But before we do that, let's look at what is happening currently in OTC before we come to know what the organization or organizers are doing as a corporate social responsibility. So this year, Ghana is having a pavilion at the ceremony, and today we have the Ghana Pavilion ribbon cutting, and the present at the event we had the Minister, Honorable Minister for Energy, John Peter Amewu, the CEO of Cosmos Energy, Joe Mensah, and then Jack Webb, the Honorary Consul of Ghana in Houston. All of them were present at the event together with the GNPC board chairman, Freddie Blay. He was also present at the event. So let's have what John Peter Amewu said in his address at the ribbon cutting in Houston.
The Deputy Minister for Energy, Dr. Mohammed Amin, members of Parliament present here, Chief Executives of state agencies here, the board chairman of GNPC, members of the Select Committee of Mines and Energy, captains of the oil and gas industry, the representatives of the American Chamber of Commerce, the Ghana Houston Chamber of Commerce, Conship, COSPA, the Executive Director of OTC, delegates, exhibitors, friends from the media, Nananum, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, on behalf of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the current President of the Republic of Ghana, I welcome you to the Ghana Pavilion and extend you your warm greetings from all Ghanaians. It is an honor to have all of you here to witness the ribbon cutting ceremony, and I want to use this opportunity to thank the organizers of the OTC for granting us the opportunity and commend the hard-working group which planned this year's program for this conference today. Ladies and gentlemen, the Offshore Technology Conference, as you are all aware, is an annual event, and Ghanaians over the years have always participated in this event. Ghana, as you are aware, has brought in a very unique future for this particular event this year. Ghana's participation in the conference this year is unique in that we are here with higher ambitions and optimisms than ever. We are here as an upstream-dominated event, not only to tell the world about our flagship upstream industry, but also to create awareness about opportunities in the downstream industry also. I have the conviction that by the end of this conference, and before I get back to Ghana with my team, companies will come knocking on our doors for licenses permit to do business in the upstream. Talking about opportunities that are there in Ghana, Ghana has a lot of potential in terms of both reserves offshore and onshore. Currently, as a country, we have aggressively embarked on an onshore exploration activities. 2D seismic activities have been conducted, and we are in the process of migrating to 3D seismic activity. I can tell you for sure that Ghana, as an emerging oil and gas industry, is gradually migrating to mature provinces. As a country, we are very flexible in undertaking fiscal regimes that will enable companies not only to come and invest, but also to invest with some amount of return on investment. We acknowledge the fact that the revenues that are derived from global funding of projects are limited. And so global fund will only check and go in after projects that give rewards to those companies. It is on that direction that, as a country, we have resolved to begin to renegotiate some of our contracts. Renegotiations of contracts, ladies and gentlemen, are for benefits both for the investor and also for the country. When materials evidences determine and trigger that there is a need for the onshore operation companies to attract such an investment and to begin to increase their revenue, we as a country, we will not deny those companies of such renegotiation approach. But it's worthy to note that renegotiations of contracts are not only a benefit to the international oil companies. Oil in situ has little value unless it is brought onshore. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana currently begins to undertake a very aggressive competitive marketing regime in terms of licensing block. For the first time in the history of our country, we have undertaken a competitive licensing regime that have seen more applications from quite over 58 applications. Out of these 58 applications, 16 countries were involved. The high tenor of the application we witnessed over the period has shown good governance, dedications, and the need of the country to move from its current emerging field to a mature provinces. There are also a lot of other opportunities that are available in the country. Apart from the participation that encourage Ghanaian companies to invest a minimum of 5% equity in the licensing blocks, other opportunities are there also for farming. Several blocks are currently available where companies have not been able to invest. And I want to use this opportunity to ask companies that are interested in investing in Ghana to contact those companies for farm opportunities. Also, we have on our downstream a very aggressive LPG promotion policy which encourages the LPG across the country. This requires the establishment of an optimally sized and professional operated LPG refill plant across the country. It is therefore interesting to note that our policy directions in the downstream sector has changed tremendously. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana's downstream sector is inundated with opportunities, and if you have what it takes to undertake such activity, I'll urge you to visit Ghana as quickly as possible. Let me also use this opportunity to announce that Ghana's delegation this time include a lot of astute businessmen and women who are capable and also looking for foreign investors to make sure that they partner their investment back home. Before I take my seat, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to use this opportunity to invite you to the Ghana Day event on Wednesday at the NRG Center Level 2, Room 300 from 2 to 5 p.m. Make it a point to attend and you won't regret it. Thank you for being part of the success of Ghana's story during this year OTC.
So that is what the Honorable Minister for Energy said, and he really recognized that Ghana is doing well in the technology sector, and for that matter, Ghana has lots of opportunities, and then going out there, they are going to bring a lot of investors. That's what we believe is going to be happening. But after he also spoke, the board chairman for GMPC, Freddie Blay, also gave a short address and acknowledging the fact that there has been a huge turnout of Ghanaians at the event, and this is what he said addressing the people.
Yes, Honorable Minister, your deputy, and our protocol observed. The GMPC is equally happy that this time round, this year particularly, the attendance have risen more than 50%. And indeed, I can see only the faces of Ghanaians mainly, but the others who are also coming to see what Ghana is showcasing are all standing beside. We are convinced that we have arrived. We want to participate in this very well and to tell everybody that we are opening our arms and we work in partnership with all those who are happy to come and work with Ghana. I am happy, I am here. I'm happy GMPC is here. I'm happy all our partners also are here. Thank you very much.
And then not left out, the CEO for Cosmos Energy also made a very brief address at the event and also acknowledged what is happening there and then what the expectations are. So this is what Joe Mensah, CEO for Cosmos Energy, also said at the Offshore Technology Conference 2019 at the Ghana Pavilion ribbon cutting.
Welcome. I just want to send my appreciation to all of you. I think it's only about a little over a year ago when the American Chamber of Commerce teamed up with Township and American Embassy, and then of course the Ministry of Energy to put together the first OTC Ghana Pavilion. And I think last year was a success, as you've heard, and we're doubling up today. And I think with the new entrants, we are looking forward that this thing will grow exponentially, so that we'll be in center stage in the years to come. The most important message that I want you to carry with you today is that all of us know that Ghana is open for business. We're looking for more investments. All of us, everyone here, should be an ambassador to really tell our story so that we can continue to attract the investments that we need in our country. And then to the diasporans out there, we want all of you to focus on coming home, because we need all of you together to pull together so that we can transform our country. And when we do, the whole continent will also be transformed. So with that, I say thank you all for coming. Make sure that you walk away with something positive and then come home for us to continue to do the work. So with that, I say thank you.
Okay, so back again, I told you that I will take you through some of the corporate responsibility, social responsibility of Offshore Technology Conference, and that is the Offshore Technology Conference for the past 8 years has hosted the annual OTC dinner as an industry fundraiser event. And then all of the proceeds from each annual OTC dinner have been donated to a non-profit organization. So these are some of the organizations that the donations have been made to: Gulf of Mexico Foundation, Engineers Without Borders, Offshore Energy Center, Energy Institute High School, Medical Bridges, Junior Achievement of Southeast Texas, Oil Fields Helping Hand, and the Young Women's Preparatory Academy. So in all, in total, Offshore Technology Conference has donated up to $1.7 million to 8 organizations, and it's a great thing that as they are celebrating 50 years this year, we have to applaud them for the great contributions they've made to such organizations, non-profit making organizations. And as part of it too, it's a great contributor to the income in Houston, contributing about $2.5 million to the, since it started in 1969, it has contributed about $2.5 billion to income to the Houston community, the city of Houston. So it's also a great thing. So after all the cutting of the ribbon and all that, DNT, the only television station, Ghanaian television station present at the event in Texas, granted interview to some dignitaries, and then we spoke to the Ghana consul, Jack. Yes, we spoke to the Ghana consul at the event in the person of Jack Webb, and this is what he said to the DNT reporter, Paula Smith.
Mr. Jack Webb, right here today. How are you finding this event so far?
So far, I'm extremely pleased. 27 years ago, President Bush sent me to Ghana. It is the greatest thing ever happened. And today, it's the culmination of the global event. This is a fantastic event.
What do you look for in Ghana in the next 10 years?
Well, I see a lot of progress in oil and gas. I see the barrels of oil going up to next 5 years. But that money, we can use that for many other things.
What are some of the processes you guys are doing for companies to come in and invest in Ghana?
Well, I have all kinds of projects. Right now, I'm meeting yesterday, the lady is building medical clinics in Ghana. She needs somebody to have them. Building television. All kind of people. I need money. They can always find a way.
That's great talking to you.
Thank you.
So that is our correspondent, DNT correspondent in Houston, Texas, speaking to the Ghana consul, Jack Webb, at the event. And then she also made a move to speak to the Honorable Minister for Energy, John Peter Amewu. And this is what he also had to share with DNT at the event.
I missed. So what are some of the equipment and things that you guys are expecting here?
Well, this year we're here to present the opportunities that exist in our mother country in terms of oil and gas exploitation activities. Ghana, as you know, has been an emerging country in terms of hydrocarbons, and a lot of opportunities are currently available, both onshore and offshore. And then we are here to present it to the investment world to understand what is necessary to be done in Ghana to improve on our hydrocarbon potentials.
I would like to ask this: what is Ghana doing to compete with other countries?
Well, in terms of competing with the international environment, Ghana is putting on a very robust fiscal regimes. We have tried to de-risk most of our basins. We're currently undertaking a very competitive, licensing round. For the first time in the history of the country, our licensing round have been very competitively priced. 57 applications from 16 countries, and this shows interest in the country. We suspect this interest is as a result of, number one, good governance, stable democracy, and the leadership that we have. The current president, His Excellency Nana Addo, is a man of good governance. He's a man that believes that the natural resources of this country should be shared equitably among all the beneficiaries. And on those bases, some of our policies that we've introduced, the free education, for instance, at which hydrocarbon resources we have to use to pay for every citizen of Ghana, are some of the ingredients that demonstrate that as a country, we are using our potential resources in a more transparent manner to benefit every citizen.
I like that a lot. I hear about the free school, free education. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, no, the free education policy simply is to allow all Ghanaians of school-going age to make sure that they attend secondary school, or what we call senior high school, free without paying any fee. And what this does is that some of the people that, of course, will be denied because inability of their parents being able to make available the cost of the school, this will be paid by government. And that takes a lot of responsibility out of parents and puts some money back in the pocket of the Ghanaians. So this is one of the wonderful policies. And we are achieving this through some of the hydrocarbon revenues that we use.
Awesome. It's awesome to be a part of this event. I'm excited, and let's learn more.
So this is coverage of 2019 OTC happening in Houston, Texas at the NRG Park, and DNT brought you all the update of the event, and then tomorrow we are coming your way with more on what is happening at the event and the performance of Ghana and how people are responding to what Ghana is presenting at the event so far. A very big thank you to the CEO of DNT, and then to our correspondent Paula Smith for the great interviews and then the great reportage that you've given to DNT here in Ghana. My name is Kofi Opon Oche. Have a good evening, and then tomorrow we will come your way with more update.